In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Cameron Johnson and his three-point shooting ability and his basketball shooting form. Why is he such a great shooter? Well, let's get down, let's check him out. And just wait a second, believe this. He was actually doubted and people didn't think that he was good enough to be picked where he was picked in the NBA draft. And guess what? I think this year in the playoffs, he just beat that stigma very easily. So in my own personal opinion, Cameron Johnson is clearly one of the best three-point shooters on the Phoenix Suns, and we're going to really break that down today. So in this clip, what do we see? Well, first off, we can see that when he receives that ball, he slightly dips it below his waist, and then he gets it into essentially a gather position between his hips. We can also see that his feet are pretty well pointed towards the rim, maybe slightly off by just a bit, but pretty well straight towards the rim. Same as his knees are just slightly off, and same as his hip. When he does receive that ball, he does tend to go down and, of course, bend his legs slightly, and we can see from even this angle that his shoulders are in line with his knees, in line with his toes. This is a very balanced shot. Now, when he brings that ball up into his set point, which is roughly right in the middle of his forehead, we can see that there is quite significant elbow bend, which could, for some players, lead to inconsistencies, but that is kind of a rare thing. We can also see when he's downloading into his shot that his legs are about 45 degrees bent off of straight. That would be 90, which will allow him to be able to get up into the air quite quickly, and he is also up onto his toes, which will allow him to engage his calves, so again he can get up into the air quite quickly so that these players cannot block his shot. We can also see that he is looking at the rim, and this is actually key that I really want everyone to realize. When you catch that ball, as soon as you feel it in your fingertips, look at the rim. If you're going to shoot, you need to know where you're aiming. Now, everyone has a different area of the rim or backboard or whatever that they aim for, but personally, I shoot a basketball by feel. And I want to feel everything in my body that tells me that this is going to be a good shot. Now, again, everyone is different, but I shoot by feel. I'm not too sure how Cameron Johnson shoots, if he shoots by feel or if he aims for something. However, what we can do see, and this is something that we do see in a lot of clips, is that he has the exact same arm bend every single shot. Now, by bringing that ball over top of the middle of his forehead, we can see that he has a 45-degree angle on his elbow, and we can also see from here that his palm starts facing out, and his thumb is also facing slightly forward, that there is a very, very, very slight thumb flick, but I would say slight enough so that when he does go up into the middle of his shot, we can see that his shoulder and elbow are in line with the rim, and that at least half that basketball is in line with his elbow, which creates that shooting triangle that I always talk about, because if your elbow is out left or right, that ball is going to be going out right or left. We can also see that he kicks his right leg out here, and we do see that quite often, which could be just because he wants to get that elbow in line. Now, really quickly, if you find that you're kicking the leg out a little too much, well, the one thing that you can do is just tilt away from the rim, maybe just a bit more, because of course the least amount of movement the better. On his release, again, we see his soft release, which will allow for a higher arced shot, but we do see the elbow at roughly the forehead height. Now, the higher this release is, if he had a higher release, maybe up to there, what that would tell us is that there would be even more arc. But with that soft release, he probably gets just enough arc anyways, and he actually has some pretty good rotation on that shot too. He also tends to leave his follow through up, which is good. You don't want to drop it too early, because what happens if you drop it, let's say you start dropping your follow through right now at this point when you're still touching that ball, that's going to really hinder your ability to shoot, and of course would affect what the ball is about to do. But I do like how the soft release that he has still gives a good amount of rotation on that ball. I also do like how he leaves that follow through up there, and at least it's at his forehead height. You generally want to have your elbow forehead height or higher, so that's still a good release. We also do see off the catch and shoot that he does tend to step into his shot, which is good. Some players, what they will do is to catch the ball and do a slight hop You can do that, but it does sometimes take a little bit of your time away from shooting the ball, which would allow for these two defenders to come and block your shot. So by stepping into it and getting that foot in line, going down on your heels, down on your toes, that's going to allow you to be having a very consistent shot. We can even see this when he catches the ball from in front, that from a pass from in front of him, he still steps into it and jams that toe into the ground. And then when he does take a hop step to the side, he goes right, left, down first, keeping that foot in line with the basket. We can also still see that his shoulders are in line with his knees and his toes. This is just a very, very balanced shot. Something we also do see is it's a two motion shot, which means that he freezes it at his forehead and then he goes up for a shot. Now for some players, you can have a two motion or a one motion. Curry's more of a one motion. However, what we're getting into now is the speed as well as sometimes the consistency and a few different factors. So if you're a bit more muscular, you're generally going to have a two motion shot over a one motion, because a one motion, if you are too strong, will have that ball fly way over the rim. So if you find that no matter what you try, the ball keeps on flying over, no matter if you're giving it a ridiculous amount of arc or not, it doesn't matter, and you still see it going over, what you can try is, again, something like what Cam Johnson does, is just that two motion shot, freeze it at your forehead for a second and then go up. That can lead to your consistent shot potentially, but it's always worth a try trying something new if it's something you haven't tried before. Cam Johnson is a fantastic basketball player. I hope that you have enjoyed today's video, and I also hope that this video helps you shoot the basketball better. If it does, hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys again next time.